But Mark is the president of his own company. It's called Optimize Inc. It's a Santa Clarita-based management consulting firm, and it specializes in strategic planning. Mark's content has been covered by Forbes magazine, CNBC, and Fox Business. He's also well known on the national speaking circuit with organizations such as vs2, the Association for Corporate Growth, and has been a guest columnist for the San Diego News Network, the San Fernando Valley Business Journal, the Santa Clarita Valley Business Journal, Entrepreneur Magazine, and publishes a weekly strategic and business blog. He also serves on a number of nonprofit boards as well as for-profit boards. And his program, entitled here today, The Secret Sauce, a recipe for competitive advantage in the years ahead. So would you please welcome my good friend and our speaker today, Mark Lewis.
It's not very often that we get to see a miracle unfold before our very eyes, which is why we were all mesmerized last January when U.S. Airways Flight 1549 crash landed into the Hudson River. For many of us, our initial reaction was, wow, that is an incredible outcome. I wonder what those pilots were thinking. Well, what we soon heard was that Sully Sullenberger had considered returning the plane back to LaGuardia Airport, but he simply didn't have enough thrust. At about that time, an air traffic controller came on the radio and said, "Where would you like to land?" And in the calmest of voices, Sully Sullenberger said, "We're going to be in the Hudson." He then turned on the PA and announced to the 155 petrified passengers 3 simple words: brace for impact. So Sully Sullenberger was interviewed by Katie Couric on 60 Minutes a couple of weeks later, and she said, "What were you thinking about as you were preparing to crash land the plane?" He said, "Well, I knew I needed to keep the wings exactly level. I knew that I needed to maintain an airspeed that was sustainable, and I knew that the tail had to hit the water before the nose." She said, "Was that difficult to do?" He said, "No, it just required some concentration." I thought, at my age, just urinating requires concentration. But you know, well, that got a double laugh in the back. That's actually it for me. I'm done. Thank you for having me. But Sully Sullenberger had a couple of things going for him that day. The first was he had a checklist. Airline pilots always have a checklist because the cost of failure is just too high. The second thing he had was he had forethought. He thought about this scenario in his mind hundreds of times, and when it became an eventuality, he knew exactly what to do. My book is about being thoughtful in your business, thinking provocatively about what might change and what you need to do to position your business so that you can maintain your competitive edge. So what I'm going to share with you today is 8 differentiating strategies and 4 growth strategies. And if you could just take home one that you could apply to your business, that would be worth our time, wouldn't it? Okay. So the first differentiating strategy is emotional triggers. So several years ago, my wife and I, we decided to go to a nonprofit event one New Year's Eve. So I went out to the department store to buy a new tuxedo. So the salesman comes to see me and I say, "You know, I love that white dinner jacket look." He says, let's see how one looks. So he grabs one off the rack, throws it on my back, and he says, "That is James Bond." I thought to myself, never in the history of mankind had a transaction closed so fast. Because I wanted to be James Bond. I want to leave you with a story that I heard from Lance Armstrong at a conference a few years ago. And he told of a time that he was lying in an Indianapolis hospital bed, and his agent, who was one of his best friends, came to see him. And he said, "Lance, how you doing?" And I said, "Fantastic." He said, "You just had surgery to remove cancer from your brain yesterday. How can you be fantastic?" He said, "I've hit the very bottom. It can't get any worse than this. And I am going to reinvent myself. And it was after that he went and got a new team, he got new sponsors, he got new equipment, got a new training regimen, and then he won the Tour de France 7 years in a row, which for my money is one of the most incredible sports achievements of our lifetime. And my point is you don't have to wait to be at the bottom to reinvent yourself. You need to reinvent yourself every day. You need to challenge your assumptions about the business every day. You need to challenge why customers and clients are doing business with you. And you need to look for points of differentiation so you can stand out in the crowd. And I'm going to leave you with my very favorite quote. It's from the great Yogi Berra. He said, "The future ain't what it used to be." Thank you very much.